Hello guys, welcome and welcome back to my channel. So I have not filmed a story time since I think December last year. So I'm back with another story time finally. And since the 4th of July is coming up, I figured this would be the perfect story time to tell. So this is about to be about how my 4th of July went really bad. I did this story time last year when the 4th of July just happened. But I hated the way I told it. I hated the way my makeup turned out. So we are going to be telling it again, and this is going to be the much more detailed version, I guess you could say. But yeah, without further ado, let's just get straight into today's story time. So I was 15 at the time, and this was the 4th of July 2022, and I had this friend F, and I had known her since we were in, I want to say, about kindergarten, because one of my old best friends introduced me to her, and ever since we met, we hit it off. We became a trio. Well, in October 2021, I ended up getting a boyfriend. And you guys already know him. We're just going to call him Aiden because that's his name. You guys know him. There's really no need to give him a whole separate name and everything. And I already planned on inviting him because we were really close. We're basically inseparable, and we still are. So obviously I was going to invite Aiden, but I also wanted to invite F because F and I barely hung out. Now, I didn't think this would be a problem, considering that my boyfriend has been loyal. F is supposed to be one of my closest friends. Why should I think anything of it? So I decided to invite them both. Shortly before the 4th of July, I ended up making a group chat on Snapchat with just the three of us so that they could get to know each other before my 4th of July party so that it wouldn't be awkward. And they ended up becoming friends. Not really close friends, but more like acquaintances, and they were cool. And I didn't find out until around that time that they were in the same math class that year, so they already knew each other. They just weren't really close. Well, around this time, I also started to check the group chat between the three of us less and less because I was going to play piano on the 4th of July. Keep that in mind, that is actually very important for later. So I was busy basically rehearsing and practicing and everything. And then I also had a lot to do before the 4th of July, like shopping and stuff. So I was pretty busy and I didn't have time to check the group chat. But when I would check the group chat, everything seemed fine between them. It was normal. Nothing was weird, out of the ordinary. So fast forward to the 4th of July, and F asked if she could come early because the party didn't start till 4. But she was like, can I just come at 1? And I'm like, oh my god, I want time for myself, but fine. So she comes at 1, and we're sitting on my porch talking about what one of our old best friends did to us, which ironically was the girl that introduced us all them years ago. And then Aiden texts me off Messenger, is like, hey, can I come now? I'm bored, I'm done with what I had to do. And I'm like, yeah, of course. So I was like, hey, Aiden's about to be here. When Aiden gets here, he basically walks up on us talking shit, basically, about Emily, which was the girl who introduced us. We're just going to call her Emily. Because she did some pretty unspeakable things. She committed crimes, sis. So we're talking about the whole incident, and he already knew because I told him. Of course I'm going to tell him. I tell him everything. Why would he not know? So he joins in because he hates her just as much as me and F do. We were getting kind of bored because it was only 2 o'clock, 2:30 around this time, and the party was not going to start for a whole another hour and a half. So we decided that we're going to go for a walk, and this is when things start to take a turn. Honestly, things just got out of hand really quick, I guess you could say. Well, I guess F became very comfortable with Aiden really quickly, because during that whole walk, she would basically not let me get a single word in. She was always talking to him, started play hitting him, and I'm like, hold the hell up. Who the hell said you can do that? Learn your place, first of all. And so I figured, you know what, whatever, I'm not going to pay attention. And I basically just walked by myself the entire 15-minute walk. Irritating, but, whatever. Got back to my house, my mom wanted us to help my neighbor bring things over for the party, like watermelon and stuff. Because me and my neighbors, we've been close. like, we're all basically family. So, of course, I was down to help. Aiden was down to help, of course, because he's just that type of person. Like, whenever he sees someone in trouble, he's there. He's a sweetheart. So, we help bring things over to my house, and, they're gonna cook on the grill. I'm a very picky eater, so I'm like, okay, well, I need to start looking for something that I'm gonna make myself to eat, because I'm not gonna eat what they're eating. So I basically ended up settling on some mozzarella sticks because that's what sounded good to me at the time, and I didn't feel like cooking a lot. So while I'm making the mozzarella sticks, it's just the three of us in the house because my parents are outside basically getting ready for the party to start because it's going to start any minute at this point. And then me, Aiden, and F, we were in the kitchen, and she just kept talking about, oh my god, I really want, like, a boyfriend or a girlfriend or someone to date, and we're like, we can hook you up with someone. She's like, haha, it's fine. And I'm like, okay, then, like, if you don't want us to try and help, then, like, I kind of don't know what to tell you. Like, you're on your own then, because, like, I'd help you, but, like, you told me you don't want my help, so why should I? So me and Aiden just kind of, like, laugh it off kind of weirdly. And then she continues to play fight him. And at this point, we go outside for a minute. And my piano is downstairs on the ground. And this bitch. You want to know what she did? I'll tell you what she did. Aiden went to jokingly grab my piano cord and run down the freaking driveway with it. And everything. And then she decides, I will get your piano cord back for you. And so she chases after my boyfriend, tries threatening him like, oh, I'm gonna beat your ass and shit. And I'm like sitting there and I'm like, no, the hell you aren't. You can stop saying that. And I told her that too, because don't threaten my boyfriend. Like, I was getting sick of it. And then I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, what the actual hell? So I join in and I try to grab my piano cord back and I got it back. Well, while I was waiting for mozzarella sticks, we ended up just sitting in the kitchen for a minute, and when Aiden went to go hug me, she gave us a dirty-ass look. Like, what are you looking at? Like, who are you looking at like that? Like, oh my god. Like, first of all, you're supposed to be my friend. Second of all, really? So I'm like, okay, whatever. It's nothing. And then I eat my mozzarella sticks, and I get in the pool after waiting like freaking 30 minutes. I didn't want my stomach to hurt. And I'm like, you know what? I'm bored. I'm getting in the pool. You guys can come in or not. Because at this point, she wasn't letting me get a word in. She just kept play hitting him, chasing him around, following him everywhere. And it was like, for what? So I was getting kind of annoyed because it's like, you're acting like you're together with him at this point because the way you're playfriend, the way you're talking to him. And I'm like, sis, he don't like you because if he liked you, he'd be with you, not me. We get in the pool and she's basically just trying to tackle him the entire time. Like, literally the entire time. She's just trying to tackle him and play fight him and shit. And it's making me hella uncomfortable, so I get out of the pool. And plus, another reason why I got out of the pool, too, was because my parents were like, are you gonna play yet? Are you gonna play yet? And I'm like, you know what? Fine. I'm gonna go in the house, I'm gonna put my fancy dress on, and I'm gonna go and I'm gonna play. Everyone else gets out of the pool because it was me, Aiden, F, and I think one of my nieces. And so we get out of the pool, I run in the house, put my dress on, and then I fix up my makeup a little bit, and then I run outside because, my parents were basically up my ass at this point. I mean, I kind of get it, though, because it was going on, 5, 6 at this point, and not everyone is going to stay forever. Because I think, my grandmother was there, my neighbors were there, my neighbor's granddaughter was there, which, my sister used to be friends with back in the day. Both my sisters were there, all my nieces, except I can't even remember if the baby was there. I'm pretty sure the baby was there. From what I remember, I can't remember if Violet was there or not, because my sister had a baby that year on Valentine's Day. Oh my god. I think I mentioned that in, one of my other story times. But anyway, back to the story time. Well, this was really what kind of pissed me off, because, as I said, I was about to sit down and play piano, and my mom was obviously trying to record me. My dad wanted to watch, because my dad was one of my biggest inspirations actually for getting into music because he plays a guitar. And then everyone else was trying to watch, and freaking Aiden was trying to record, right? You want to take a wild fucking guess what happened next? So, I'm sitting down and I'm starting to play, and while he's recording, she keeps hitting him and trying to knock the phone out of his hand. And I'm sitting there like, you're joking, right? And so I am aggravated, but I can't just storm off in the middle of a fucking performance. There's no need to, So I was like, okay, well, whatever. I'm just going to put up with it for now. For now. And it just kept happening to the point my mom got after her. She was like, listen, we're trying to hear, we're trying to record. Can you stop? She only listened for a minute and then she was back on her bullshit. Of course. That's how it always goes. So I'm like, okay, cool. Whatever. I finished my performance eventually, but, during the middle of it, she left. Thank God. Because I was starting to get fed up. You're being disrespectful as hell, first of all. You're joking. You're supposed to be, my close friend, and you're doing all this stuff. So after my performance, my mom is like, hey, listen, can I talk to you for a minute? And I'm like, oh, shit. Did I do something? She was like, listen, I don't like the way your friend was acting, especially with Aiden. Aiden's not in the wrong here, because he wasn't even given into it. He really didn't care, but it's your friend should know better. She knows you guys are dating, right? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, I'm telling you, it's always the best friend. And I'm like, oh, I know. Not my first rodeo. But, it was just so disrespectful because you did this for what? I am trying to be nice and invite you somewhere. And you go behind my back and do this shit. So at this point, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to confront her. And she left. So I couldn't confront her, face to face as much as I wanted to. So I text her on Snapchat and I'm like, so what was that about? And she's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, how you were acting all flirty and so close and everything with Aiden, knowing we're together. And you literally made me look like an ass because everybody noticed it. My neighbors told me they noticed it. My sisters did. My parents did. My mom even talked to me. And she's like, all she had to say to that was, I'm bad at social cues. There's a difference. I can see, people are bad at social cues and everything, but, there's a difference between being bad at social cues and very obviously flirting with someone. That's, two different things. Make it make sense. This wasn't the only thing to go wrong this 4th of July, because later that night, Aiden and I go to take a little lighter, and we're like, you know what? Okay, we're gonna light off a few little, firecrackers ourselves. Not, firecrackers, but, what are those things called? Sparklers! Oh, yeah, sparklers. Them things. We light off a few sparklers while everyone else is in the back talking and whatnot. And so my mom gives us her lighter and she's like, you guys better not burn yourselves. So we light off a few sparklers, and it's starting to get dark around this time. It was going on, I don't even know. It was pretty late. I had to have been pretty late because we were in the back for a while chilling out with everyone after F left and all that happened. And it's just I was kind of on edge after that. I was he wasn't feeding in to what she was doing, but it's I was just on edge because it's she proved to me she cannot be trusted. So I don't really know if I still want to be friends with her or not. I didn't know what to do at the time. But I was like, you know what? It's the 4th of July. I need to relax. I need to enjoy myself. My boyfriend's here. My family's here. There's no need to be stressing about someone that's not even in the same vicinity as me. So I'm like, you know what? Okay, whatever. I'm going to put it in the back of my mind. And Aiden could tell something was wrong. So he was like, what's wrong? What's wrong? And I told him, I'm like, I just didn't like the way she was flirting with you. And he was like, she was flirting with me? That's disgusting. And I'm like, yeah. Yeah, she was flirting with you. And he's like, apologizing. And I'm like, why are you apologizing? It's not like you were flirting with her. You weren't playheading her or anything. She was play hitting you and coming onto you. Well, at least trying to. Yeah, I know, right? Well, in about a half hour from when we're letting off sparklers, my parents and my neighbors came out in the front and they were like, we're going to do some fireworks. And my dad, this was kind of a dumb idea, but you know what alcohol does. You know what alcohol does. It's kind of a dumb idea, but he brought his scaffolding. You know, the scaffolding used to climb up high places. Yeah, he brought his whole scaffolding shelf, tall as hell, at like the end of the driveway. And he climbed up it with a firework and a letter in his hand. And me and Aiden look at each other. We're like, oh God. So he lights off fireworks, right? And, you know, I thought everything was going to be fine. I mean, these were huge-ass fireworks. Like, fireworks you'd have to travel all the way to Pennsylvania to get. Because that's what my neighbor usually does. He travels to Pennsylvania to go get his fireworks. So he can have them expensive-ass ones, period. Well, eventually, my mom decides to light off a firework because my dad had to go pee and he was taking forever. So, she grabs the lighter and stuff, and then, oh my God, this literally... went to go run away from the firework. And that shit tipped to the side, pointed at us, and it was already ignited. So, like, there was no stopping it. And fireworks were blowing everywhere. Like, up, down, all at us. Like, this bitch literally almost accidentally blew us up with fireworks. And so I'm sitting there, I'm like, Mom, run. And she's sitting there laughing. I'm like, dude, we're literally about to get blown up with fireworks. What the fuck? And so me and Aiden are like, oh shit. Great. You know, we might get blown up with fireworks. How cute. Luckily we didn't, and everyone was okay, except I'm not sure about Aiden and everyone else, but I did have a couple, like, burn marks on me for, like, a couple days after. No big deal. Nothing serious at all. Well, Aiden eventually went home real quick to ask if he could stay out till 10. His parents said yeah. So he comes back, and everyone is starting to go inside and everything. Party's over. And so we're like, why don't we chill out back and listen to music and stuff? And he's like, okay, but so that's what we do. And while we are doing that, I start to get this really bad inkling that something is wrong. When you get inklings like that, the worst possible thing you could do is ignore them. And I have been in some pretty screwed situations before, so I'm like, I am not taking any chances. So I'm like, hey, like, I don't know about you, but I have this really, really weird feeling. And he's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, I have a feeling that, like, we're being watched or something. Well, as I said, you should never ignore your gut feelings because, well, turns out we were being watched. Fucking surprise, isn't it? No. So we're sitting at the picnic table, and all of a sudden, I start to hear movement. And I'm like, that could just be a squirrel or something. But he hears it too, and he shushes me. And he's like, do you hear that shit? And I'm like, yeah, I hear that shit, but couldn't it just be a squirrel? But looking back, the footsteps were, like, pretty, like, big. So it's like, it really couldn't have been a squirrel. But I was like, I'm trying to give the benefit of the doubt because I didn't want to, like, lose my shit. So, we're sitting there and we're debating whether or not we should go inside. And keep in mind, these footsteps are coming from my neighbor's yard. And my neighbor already left. Like, he went home. And this was the same neighbor that was over at the party. And he already went home and stuff. So I'm like, okay, shit, can't be him. Because he said he's going to, like, take care of his mom and everything and do what he's got to do. So I'm like, okay, it's not him. Who the hell is back there? And so Aiden and I, like, we're like, we should probably go inside. But while we're getting up to go inside, I happen to look over and I literally see a whole grown-ass man. I shit you not, just like a whole grown-ass man out there. Like, he literally was wearing, like, I can't even remember, it's been forever. But it was a whole-ass grown-ass man, and it was not my neighbor. It was not my neighbor. It didn't even look like my neighbor. So I'm like, I'm gonna run inside. I'm gonna get my dad. I'm gonna find out his number, which is my neighbor, and I'm gonna call him. And so I run inside, and I'm like, guys, there's someone in our neighbor's backyard. And my mom and my dad tried brushing it off, but my mom's like, not sure what to do because she can't fight anyone. Like, she has back issues and a whole bunch of other stuff that I'm not going to get into. So I find my neighbor's number on my phone, and I call him, and I'm like, listen, like, someone's in your backyard. So he comes over with this huge bat thing, and I'm like, oh God. So we ended up going and into my backyard, and he was like, hey, get the fuck out of my backyard, like, get the fuck off my property. And me and Aiden look at each other like, and I'm on the back deck, and keep in mind, I was filming this day because, you know, I want to do another 4th of July vlog for you guys, right? So if you guys go down on my channel, you guys will see the video, and I actually have actual footage of this happening to back me up. And so, you know, I'm sitting there, and I'm like, great, you know, anxiety skyrocketing right now, you know. Well, scary thing is, whoever was in his backyard, we ended up hearing their voice for a second. It was like groaning or something. I can't even remember. And I was so shocked that I went to go down the stairs to get like a closer like shot, I guess you could say. And then I freaking fell down the stairs. Like, I full on fell down the stairs. I'm not sure if I got, like, footage of me falling down the stairs. I can't remember. I might have not. But, yeah, I ended up falling down the stairs and hurting my finger. But, you know, whatever. That's really not the problem here. The problem is someone's in my neighbor's backyard, and they're more than likely a creep because no normal person's just going to go in someone's backyard. So, we hear someone hop the fence. And then that's when our neighbor really starts to believe us, because it's like, we heard someone hop the fence. Like, you know. And he's like, are you sure that was someone? I'm like, yeah, I saw them and everything. And I'm pretty sure he saw them too, from what I remember. As I said, it's been forever ago, but, like, I ran inside, and I was traumatized as hell. I'm like, because me and my anxiety. Anyways, guys, this is the end of today's story time. I know I haven't filmed one in forever, but thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoy, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I post vlogs. I don't really post story times. If anything, it'd be more of an occasional thing. I might post one soon, though. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys!